Oh my goodness, sometimes I don't even know what to say. Zeus. Just that name alone already sounds expensive. Now picture this. Calm morning, no noise, no rush. Zeus wakes up inside a $25 million Dubai penthouse. Glass walls, marble floors, the kind of city view that makes everything below seem tiny. He moves slowly, sometimes barefoot, like a man who already owns the ground he's standing on. Tall, sharp jawline, thick beard, always perfect, hair brushed back like nothing else in the world matters. People say he looks untouchable, and you get it the moment you see him. Stress doesn't know where he lives. And then, the lifestyle. Oh, the lifestyle. 2 Lamborghinis, an Aventador SVJ and a Huracan, cars that together could buy a mansion elsewhere. A Rolls-Royce Phantom Extended, silent, powerful, almost impossible to imagine parked in a driveway. That is crazy. And the watches. Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet. Some worth $200,000, some $500,000, and sometimes over $1 million. On one wrist. No noise, no logos, just authority. And then the jet. Zeus doesn't fly commercial. Not ever. He's got Gulfstream G650s and G700s. Real market value $65 to $75 million. Sometimes he just takes the jet from Dubai to Monaco for lunch. Sometimes the Mediterranean calls, and he answers. Not for necessity, for the power of movement. Boom, Dubai. Boom, Monaco. Boom, a $30 million yacht floating silently in the Mediterranean, where only the sun and the sea know who's aboard. And here's the wild part. Zeus is in his early 30s. Modern finance, digital investments, high-level private deals, that's his empire. He doesn't need cameras. He doesn't need Instagram. In interviews and private conversations, he's known for saying less, doing more. His family stays away from public eyes, living comfortably, secretly. That mystery is what keeps people searching his name every single day. Sometimes he just stands by the glass, sipping coffee, watching the city like nothing in the world can touch him. People say, wait, that's actually real? And yes, it is. And just when you think, nah, you've seen the peak, here comes Dan Bilzerian.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Boom. Dan wakes up inside a $75 million mansion near Miami, sometimes described as a private island lifestyle. Infinity pools, palm trees swaying, helicopters parked like toys. He looks rugged, confident, relaxed, like he owns life itself. And the garage? Oh, the garage doesn't make sense. Ferrari F12 TDF, $1.2 million. Ferrari 812 Superfast, $450,000. Bugatti Veyron, $800,000 to $1 million. Custom SUVs, $150,000 each. Insane. And it's not just cars. Helicopters, $3 million each. Yachts worth tens of millions. Poker nights with $100,000 buy-ins. Casual. In interviews, Dan talks openly about high-risk investing, poker, and turning every wild move into a brand.
To tap into that, so he taught me how to play poker so that he could, play me heads up and beat me for some of the money. So, he did that for a while.
Early 40s, chaotic lifestyle, and people love him because he shows it all. The parties, the wins, the chaos, the madness. Boom, mansion. Boom, helicopter. Boom, yacht. Boom, poker table at midnight. Zeus makes luxury feel calm, untouchable, like a silent storm. Dan makes luxury feel wild, explosive, impossible to ignore. One controls silence. One controls attention. And here's the truth. This is just the beginning. Because next, we dive into the purchases money can't explain. The nights that left the internet speechless. The moves that shocked billionaires and celebrities alike. The watches, the jets, the yachts, the cars, the poker games, all of it in ways that make you stop, blink, and whisper. That is crazy. And we're only getting started. The streets of Monaco, the skyscrapers of Dubai, the islands that cost more than entire cities elsewhere. Boom, boom, boom. And as we go deeper, you'll see the edge, the audacity, the moments that turn money into spectacle. Zeus sipping espresso at sunrise, Dan throwing poker chips at midnight. Luxury isn't just a word. It's a lifestyle, a statement, a feeling you can't put a price on. Until someone like this proves you can. You know what's funny? After a certain point, money stops being about survival. It stops being about comfort. It becomes about control. Let's talk numbers. Because this is where people sit back and say, wait, how? Zeus, the quiet power, 32. Zeus's net worth is estimated at $500 million to over $1 billion. That's lifetime money, generational money, the kind of money that doesn't rush. And the crazy part? Most of his wealth isn't loud. It's not online every day. It lives inside private deals, long-term investments, and assets that don't lose value. Zeus doesn't just buy things. He buys time. His collection isn't messy, it's curated. Cars? Not 20 supercars, just the right ones. Limited edition Lamborghinis, a Rolls-Royce Phantom Extended, customized so quietly you'd miss how expensive it is. Cars he can drive today and still sell years later for close to what he paid. Watches? This is where Zeus gets serious. Richard Mille pieces that never touch retail. Patek Philippe models people wait years just to be allowed to buy. Watches he doesn't wear daily. Watches he keeps because they outlive trends. That's not flexing. That's legacy thinking. Now the stupid part, Zeus hosts experiences, not parties. Private dinners with chefs flown in for one night only. Entire hotel floors booked for privacy, not guests. Yachts rented even when he already owns access to one, just because he wants a different view. Stupid money, calm execution. And here's the real flex. Zeus buys things for life. Residences in multiple countries, residency access, passports, education and security for generations that aren't even born yet. Boom. Power without noise. Dan Bilzerian, loud, wild, unapologetic, age 43. Dan Bilzerian's net worth is estimated between $150 million and $250 million. Unlike Zeus, Dan's wealth is on display, and that's intentional. Dan doesn't collect quietly, he collects stories. His car collection looks like a movie set. Rare Ferraris, a Bugatti Veyron that exists just to say why not. Custom trucks and SUVs built for pure excess, cars that don't need logic, cars that don't need explanation. Properties? Dan doesn't just buy houses, he buys playgrounds, massive mansions with party-level pools, helipads, rooms people forget how they got into. And yes, the stupid stuff. Dan is famous for hosting things that don't need to exist. Over-the-top parties that look unreal, entire nights built around chaos, energy, and excess, events that make people say, this doesn't even look real. And the wild part? That is the brand. Dan uses money to buy moments. Zeus uses money to buy control. Dan buys helicopters because he wants to arrive dramatically. Zeus flies private because he hates waiting. Two men, two philosophies. The difference that matters. Here's the truth most people miss. Dan lives in the moment. Zeus builds beyond the moment. One spends money to feel alive. The other spends money so life never pressures him again. Both are rich. Both are powerful. But they represent two different definitions of success. Boom, silence. Boom, chaos. And this is why people can't stop searching their names, because deep down, everyone asks the same question. If you had that money, which life would you choose? Type Zeus if you'd choose calm, control, and legacy. Type Dan if you'd choose chaos, moments, and wild freedom. No wrong answer, just two different dreams. And this is only part 2. Because next, we're breaking down the craziest purchases, the decisions that shocked the internet, and the moments where money stopped making sense completely. If this made you think, like, share, and follow for more. Because part 3 is where luxury turns into legend.